What do we have here? You may kiss my boots.
I'm telling you, man, the society that had an agenda to create the perfect environment to cultivate degeneracy in modern times fully succeeded, bro.
It always comes back to the man. Where it's like, if you have a weak man, it's going to breed a weak woman.
I feel like society alters a woman's mind and psychology, right, through programming. And that affects her biology, bro. And they do the same thing with men. And you're left with a bunch of women that have unrealistic expectations of men. And you're left with a bunch of men that would rather have fantasies and be financially dominated by women on OnlyFans or the men that you saw in the video instead of just being with a real person.
This advanced society is against you. It's against me, against us all. Everything is set up to annihilate our identity as men. Our fundamental, crude, inherent, God-appointed intention is in danger. Each and every piece of new innovation, new application, new headway is intended for solace and accommodation. It's intended to simplify your life, more straightforward, and at last to make you less powerful, and to a lesser degree a danger. You invest less energy practicing and upgrading your manliness and additional time rehearsing sloth and pointlessness. Less time fabricating a domain, constructing a strong empire, and additional time fantasizing about cash, ladies, power, distinction. As you endlessly swipe your life away, you become simply one more pinion in the machine. You stay a supporter, a productive purchaser, while they become increasingly more noticeable in every one of our lives. How would we change this? How would we as men reclaim our power and our worth? How would we embrace our solidarity and manliness valuable instead of pointless? How would we do this in a world that criticizes these things? To respond to that inquiry, we should return to the agrarian age. Before the modern unrest, a man would awaken and get to deal with the ranch, and his own lawn and his children would be there close by him, helping him as well as paying attention. Basically, the dad assumed the protected part, yet he was additionally their educator. He directed them, he taught them the best way to take care of business, how to be solid and to try sincerely and to serve and to deal with his loved ones. It was something delightful that worked. As a matter of fact, it had worked for many years earlier. The man was effectively involved, and he was constantly associated with his family, his children, and his significant other. That was until the modern industrialization started. Try not to misunderstand me, there was a lot of extraordinary things that came from industrialization, but it included some significant pitfalls. America turned into a stalwart country, yet it likewise split families up. The man would invest a large portion of his energy in the production lines, less at home, the vast majority of his experience with his partners, and less time with his loved ones. Fortunate, if he just got a solitary hour with his significant other and kids by the day's end prior to hitting the hay and get back at it again in the morning. Indeed, there was substantially more cash to be made in the city, but at the expense of losing his royal privileged position at home. A man who was once lauded and cherished by his family became only an expendable instrument to society. Subsequently, a man got this thought that cash was the absolute best thing he could offer his loved ones. So every one of the late hours and complete depletion was totally legitimate to some degree because of a sensible pay. This idea began seeping into current culture. Men began thinking cash is the main gift they can offer, giving to his family and to himself with a greater home, a pleasant vehicle, costly gems and brand garments. He contemplated internally, this makes me a man, consequently, taking care of business has kept on changing. It has kept on turning out to be an ever-increasing number of twisted many ages. Culture's plan has kept on supporting these thoughts and misleading ideas telling men, what you need is more joy. What you need is more solace, more sex, ladies and assets. When you get those things, you'll feel genuinely masculine. So we're right here. Men have lost their motivation. Men have pursued choices dependent on pleasure, instead of being purpose-driven. A current man needs the compensations of masculinity, yet just needs the prerequisites and obligations of a small kid. I urge you to make strong families. We should make parenthood and marriage cool once more. What's cooler than investing in one single lady and dealing with her like the holy messenger she is? What's cooler than giving your lady love, devotion, responsibility, honor, and respectability, showing her how solid of a man you are, the way you're not staged by the enticements of this world, how you're manly and intense, that you don't require no one other than her. What's cooler than that? It's easy to just give in to the pleasures of this world, but it takes a true, strong, well-developed masculine man to rise above it. Rise above those things to say, no, I'm a husband first, I'm a father first, a God-fearing man who lives to honor Christ, serve his family. TikTok girls and these IG models have got nothing to do with my wife. We should dismiss current culture. We should dismiss the cutting-edge ways that culture covers us with, reject the untruths, the desire, all that media is attempting to captivate us with. How about we return to custom, back to righteousness, genuine certified love and honor, uprightness, emotionlessness, clan, and building an inheritance? We should set an example for the up-and-coming age of men. It begins with you, it begins with me, begins with us all. Each family in turn. It doesn't make any difference where you come from, where you're at. It doesn't make any difference assuming you believe you're unfit. God made you as the head of the home to lead, guide, and have profound power over the house. Not on the grounds that you are prevalent, but since God wants bearing in the house. He picked men to be the lead, the king, the worker. He picked you to settle on the hard choices for the family, not to pursue choices that are best for you, but those that are best for your significant other, children, and what will develop them and assist them with becoming more grounded and shrewd. According to God, love and honor your significant other. Be ready to set down and penance your life for her out of the blue. This is the ruler's obligation. Men spend their entire lives thinking the importance of masculinity is out on the planet when it begins right from home. Understand, a man's most prominent title is a specialist or a teacher. A man is produced at home. It's wild we need to put robots on Mars and construct a civilization far out in the universe. However, neglect to acknowledge life is here. It's directly before us. Families are biting the dust, relationships are passing on, so we should not get it confounded. Genuine masculinity is about capably really focusing on others and enhancing the position God has placed you in this moment. It's no mishap that God made man first and lady second. In that grouping, it was a purposeful activity. With that headship comes extraordinary obligation. Satan is on a mission to take, kill, obliterate, and cut off the chunks of men, to take out his position, and he's doing that through the way of life and its patterns. This is a profound fight we're confronting. This is in a real sense our age's conflict. Show yourself as a man, wear that crown, not of gold, not of gems, but rather the crown of thistles. Choose today whom you will follow, culture's guidelines or God's arrangement.